We're very, very happy to be part with Snow. Supreme Dental being, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the first dental clinic in Mexico to be sponsored by Snow.
That's correct. And when you work with you guys in particular, it's a whole nother world. I mean, it's not even comparable to, I've done work in Beverly Hills, Boca Raton, Manhattan. There's no real comparison because it's an ultimate experience. It's a holistic experience. So sell them what they want, give them what they need. I want fast results, quick. I want it to last a long time, but what they need is vitamins and all these other things.
So you didn't aim to, this is what you need, this is what you want, but this is actually what you need to get what you want.
Correct. And, everything happens for a reason, and I'm so excited about the Supreme and Snow collaboration and partnership. What they could do is you put this in your pocket, and you put this in your mouth, and you still have enough space to vacuum and do what you need to do.
And you're a tall guy. Yes. We have pictures of a patient that came in before we had their work done and after. It could be 3, 4, 5 days after. It's a different glow.
Yes,
their eyes look different. Their smile look different. Me and George have talked about it.
I met Robert Gronkowski, and he had never whitened his teeth in his life. And he's like, I have super sensitive teeth. I don't whiten my teeth because of that. And I said, I promise you, that's why I started the business, and that's what we're most famous for now. I think it's really fun to be able to come to Supreme Dental, hop over to Eternal, look at the lab, come to the podcast studio.
4 different worlds.
You got 4 completely different worlds in one, very easy to reach spot. The excitement of what could come next. Like this, I finally found the solution.
You changed someone's world.
Entire world.
You changed. And that's the beauty of Snow also.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine.
Welcome back to Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. You can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, this podcast was meant for you, our patients. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Listen, we're on Apple Podcasts and we're on Spotify. And today we have the legend of teeth whitening, Mr. Josh Snow.
What's going on, Frank? It's a pleasure to be here, brother.
It's an honor.
It's an honor to be here as well. Thank you. And you look great. I got to say, that Snow tracksuit looks really good on you, for sure.
That Supreme Dental shirt. Have you been working out, man? Because you look pretty built on that. I'm telling you right now.
Apparently, maybe it's the shirt. These shirts are kind of that good.
I'm telling you. What the difference of clothes makes in somebody.
It kind of does.
Josh, obviously, you've been in this for quite some time.
Yes.
But I wanted to start with a question.
Okay.
That I have that question, the same question.
Okay, I got to hear it.
So first, I'm going to start with a smaller question, then I'm going to move on to a bigger one. So
perfect.
What are you doing down here at Supreme Dental?
So we're here at Supreme Dental with my girlfriend, Amanda, and we wanted to get the best smile in the world. Obviously, I'm in the business. A lot of people have teeth. 18 years that I've been doing this, 17 on your guys' side. We know what it takes. And one thing that I will not falter on is quality. And because Los Algodones is the capital of dental in the world, you can chat GPT it, Google it, check every source that you want to look at. There is nowhere with more dental professionals and specialists, the quality and the speed. So that's the first thing, is why Los Algodones, right? Well, one, it's a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from Scottsdale, Arizona, or where I live, Paradise Valley, the same thing. So for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, you can actually get things done very quickly with the highest level of quality, the most level of certifications, and your guys' side, 10 international certifications. So I research everything, right? Now, ChatGPT, I can make sure that I'm finding the very, 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 very best. And obviously, for my girl, I want the very, very best. And so that was part of it, seeing what you and your wife have built, and then seeing, in our scenario, Dr. Dulce's work. And I thought the repetition creates mastery. And, a lot of dentists that I work with, we work with all the dentists in the US, and they're phenomenal, but they're doing a fraction of the amount of repetitions than you are. And Kobe Bryant was one of the best at explaining how repetition was so important to mastery. And so I don't want my dentist doing my brain surgery. I also don't want a dentist that hasn't had enough experience to do something. And in Los Algodones, you can get things done in a few days instead of a few months. You obviously can save some money, which is amazing because in the US, dental insurance covers very little. And we recently launched Snow Dental Insurance to cover cosmetic procedures, which is revolutionary. You think it would have been done before, but nobody really covers that. And so Los Algodones is the best. Every single signal that I found pointed me to Supreme Dental. And so far, and truly through your staff is amazing. Obviously, you and your wife are incredible.
Thank you.
But I really look at the quality of service. And I like to say that anticipation is the highest level of service. And you guys anticipate that level of service, the attention to detail. And so for someone that builds products with attention to detail that is very particular in what we build, I really appreciate that. And for something as sensitive as working on a smile, not only do you guys have the most qualified staff, even compared to the US, the international certifications are out of this world. The repetition, as I mentioned, so the level of mastery you have on dental work is extraordinary. And I think the competition is a layer that I understand very well. When you have that many specialists competing and Supreme is able to stand out amongst that, this is dental capital of the world. So this is like the Olympics for dental services.
Pretty much.
And you guys have the gold medal, so that's what first brought us to you. And then realizing how different you guys are, even compared to any other practice I've ever been to. What you guys do is the attention to detail is extraordinary. The turnaround time is extraordinary. The bedside manner is incredible. So what brought me initially is all the accolades, international certifications that even the US practices don't have. So that was first. And then realizing from the moment that we reached out to you guys, how smooth you guys were in answering all of our questions, how accommodating and trustworthy you guys created that essence, and then showing up and realizing that everything was actually better, like many times better than even the expectations I had because it was such a good experience. Perfect.
Well, there goes my second question. It was going to be why Supreme, but I guess you answered it right away. You spoke with Ernesto, right?
Yes.
And
Ernesto's amazing.
And you told me that you were kind of like testing him.
A little bit, for sure. I mean, look,
good.
I've been doing this for so long. I test people. I can't help but test them. I just want to make sure that I'm just curious, you know? I'm an intellectual, curious guy, and I like to make sure. And I'm in the dental space, right? And so for me, if I'm going to let someone work on my girl's smile, I want to feel very confident about that. And so Ernesto, I will say, amazing, has not left my side still. I can text him about anything. On iMessage, just boom, 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 right away responses. Everything that he said has come true. So there's no lack of trust in what he showed. I could also tell that I've trained sales teams for a living. I get paid a lot of money to train other people's sales teams. It was more about the care of making sure that I felt comfortable, making sure that I had the answers I needed. He didn't know until he found out a little bit later on who I was, but I know the questions to ask. And so I was definitely testing him, and every single time he came through with the right answer, responded every time. Usually at random times of the day, he's responding right away. And that's so important because, you know, obviously medical tourism is a big business. People go down. For me, it's 2.5, 3 hours. If you live in California, Arizona, Texas, any one of those states, it's literally the fastest drive to get down here. It's so safe. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. The people are amazing. And when you work with you guys in particular, it's a whole nother world. I mean, it's not even comparable to, I've done work in Beverly Hills, Boca Raton, Manhattan. There's no real comparison because it's an ultimate experience. It's a holistic experience. And I think that's what most people forget. And in building Snow, everything from the packaging, the formulation, the service, the pictures, everything is attentive to detail. And so I seek that out. And it's nice, right? Like a Rolls Royce, the doors close if you don't close them all the way. That was nice. Anticipation. And I think that you guys have really mastered that. And it's it's a beautiful town as well. I wish that more younger people would realize the opportunity for obviously dental, and there's optical, there's pharmacy, there's a lot of different services here, but the dental side of things, especially what you guys have created, I have not found the comparison. And obviously we work with a lot of dentists, and that's not to put anyone down. It's just
Right.
when you take the value, so value is very important. What does value consist of? And what that consists of, I think it's very hard to match. And in fact, I wish there was a Supreme Dental in the United States, because
We talked about that.
we talked about that, because I think the competition that you would provide for them would cause them to raise some of the standards around patient care, patient follow-up, response times. There's a lot of pieces. And unfortunately, dental insurance doesn't cover really anything in the United States. And so being able to have a resource like Supreme Dental, where you got the state-of-the-art machinery, the state-of-the-art staff, they get internationally trained, I see all the certifications, like that is abnormal in comparison. And I think it comes from a juxtaposition that you guys have to utilize. I mean, you guys mastered it, where it's like you guys literally have like every certification. And in the US, you just go to any random dentist, and like I graduated from down the street, and I'm going to work on your teeth, and they do a great job, but it's not to that level.
Right.
And so when I see that level of commitment and a level of mastery across your staff, like Dr. Dulce, all of them actually, I've had a chance to meet the majority of your staff. Bedside manner, 10 out of 10. Education, you can tell they've got all the certifications. And then the quality of work, the artistry. And then you got to show me a little bit of your lab, which was insane. And I'm a big lab investor in the United States. And I'm a geek, so I like technology.
It happens, yeah.
You show me the Alienwares and all this stuff. And I go, oh yeah, it makes sense. And then being able to see it happen live really, I think, ties it together.
Wow. I've took you so far in 4 different worlds. You've been to Supreme Dental with your girlfriend,
Yes.
which is over there watching the podcast.
Yes, she is.
And we did Supreme Dental. Then we went to Eternal Beauty.
Yes.
Different world.
Different world.
Smell, lighting,
Totally different world.
everything.
I mean, that was different. And
Were you
it's
expecting?
crazy
Were you
'cause
expecting that?
I had a little bit, because you guys did such a good job of, boom, golf cart shows up to pick us up. Boom, take us here, take us there. Like, so smooth. And then after meeting you and your wife, then yes, there was a little bit of, I could understand that it's probably going to be really dope. But then the door opens right there, and I go, whoa. And everything's gold and smells different. Even the sounds are different. The temperature's different. Everything, the carpets are different. And then I went and sat in that room, and the chair just soft and relaxing. So I would say I definitely didn't expect to that degree that it would be that much different of a world, but equally as impressive. So it's like it's like a video game, Mario, like you go into the different worlds.
Yeah, Mario. Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're fully dedicated though. Like each room is fully dedicated to that world. So there's no the only overlap is that they're both very beautiful, very luxury, even compared to all the Beverly Hills studios that I go to that are in some strip mall or some high rise, and they got a little bit of that pizzazz. This is an entire world that you've enveloped, which is really fun. I think it's really fun to be able to come to Supreme Dental, hop over to Eternal, look at the lab, come to the podcast studio.
4 different worlds.
You got 4 completely different worlds in one, very easy to reach spot. And I think that's fun. It's fun. And I hope that more of the patients can experience more of the worlds with Supreme, because like Eternal, it's a whole nother dimension. And I got a hydrofacial, and that was really
How was that?
nice. Oh, that was my first one.
Really?
Yeah, it was my first one. And I followed hydrofacial for a long time, multi-billion-dollar brand, love what they've built. And obviously I'm in the medical device and, kind of similar world. But I never got a chance to get a hydrofacial yet. And it was awesome. It was really nice. And in fact, I told Amanda, I was like, we got to do this a little bit more often. This was really nice and calming, dude.
Well, actually, Amanda walked out, and then she was like, "That was so awesome." She was so relaxed, and it was.
Oh, she
just
was
like,
so relaxed. I was
was
too.
cool.
I almost fell asleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they
almost fell
did. They
asleep.
did tell me that.
I almost fell asleep. I was so relaxed, and the treatment was awesome. It removes all the impurities in your nose and all the blackheads.
And you got the music playing, and you got the smell, and it just everything connects. Yeah.
The gold lip pillow that I'm laying on and just relaxing. That was really nice. And then got a little Brotox. And the Brotox I think is important because it's
something that's needed. I need
honestly, I posted some and every guy I got probably 100, 200 replies from that. And the girls were like, yeah. And then the guys were like, that's smart. You're ahead of it. I should start thinking about it. Did that hurt? So now they're interested inside of it because Botox is really got, a little bit in there. It really works. And it's to prevent the future of that. And I'm a very expressive guy. I'm always smiling. I'm always laughing. Can't help it. I'm laughing all day. So what happens with those strong face muscles is that, of course, they're going to create indentations in the skin. And then over time, it creates some sagginess. And then you also have the Venus Versa machine, which is amazing. And so I think having it all in one place, and you got the lab. You guys have a vertically integrated powerhouse at a very luxurious level with prices that the U.S. cannot compete with. And being literally next to the border is just so difficult to compete with. And the quality at which you do so. And then your staff, I will say, your staff. I've done work in algodones before, but the quality of staff and the consistency of that across the board. So moving from Supreme Dental to Eternal Beauty, there's not a change in quality or personnel. I mean, if any, it's just more relaxing, I guess, because there's not, you're not getting your teeth drilled. You're hanging out getting a hydrofacial, but that's the only thing. And it's a whole different world that you bring them into. And then your lab as well is a whole different world. And then obviously this is a whole different world. So I think you and your wife have mastered the art of experience and high quality experience to people in different segments that you guys have. That's your creative outlet. Just like I create different products, you guys create those experiences. It's fun to watch. I love it.
You said that you got your teeth done with somebody in Beverly Hills.
Somebody, yeah.
And it was a different experience. Let's put it at that, right?
Definitely.
And you were telling me all about that.
Yeah.
And my question was going to be, why'd you pick Supreme? But you already answered that question.
Yeah.
So, we
well, I didn't have a good experience. I mean, I went to one of the most premier.
Right.
We're not going to name names,
No
but
names.
one of the most premier in Beverly Hills, and bedside manner horrible. Even the waiting room stuffy. It felt like you didn't belong there.
Is it like you're doing them a favor?
Yes.
That's
Very entitled of the doctor, and oh man, it was rough, and they did a great job, and I'm so grateful and thank you. But the bedside manner was definitely, it left a mark on me, and we're talking tens of thousands of dollars with a discount, right? So comparatively, looking at Supreme Dental, I can save half of the price, take a little trip, enjoy the best food and best music, and enjoy myself for a few days, work with the best staff. I mean, gosh, it's hard. A lot of people go to Thailand, Turkey, far places that they fly to, and a lot of times pay more because you got to factor in the flight, how long you're traveling, how long you got to stay there. To know that literally 5 minutes from the border is a dental capital of the world, especially for a younger audience to understand that, it's extraordinary. And of course, I'm in the business. We sold our 100 million treatment. We've helped millions and millions of people feel more confident about their smile. We know the power of the confidence that comes from behind feeling more confident about your smile. Unfortunately, with Snow, although we have millions and millions of customers, we're not a restorative, we're not a functional, anything functional, restorative, and truly kind of cosmetic in that nature. We don't do. We're not dentists. So we help you at home. But to know that Americans have access to something so close, you can fly into Yuma, Phoenix, drive down, rent a car, San Diego. You guys have a shuttle that just brings them right down for free, which is crazy. And it's just so safe and nice. And this is a place made to help people feel better and get access to that. And after, millions and millions of sales, tens of thousands of reviews, we know that we have patients that come out of chemo that have chemo marks.
Yeah.
And we help them feel more confident with the whitening at home, and we know that effect. But when someone comes in, like I had a chance to talk to some of the patients in the waiting room, right? It's beautiful people too. And, the excitement of what could come next, like this, I finally found the solution.
You changed someone's world.
Entire world.
You change. And that's the beauty of Snow also, is that somebody's back at home. People don't want to, they have the butter looking teeth, they have yellow
Right.
teeth. And now this makes a huge difference. And you know what? I don't know if the difference is, obviously it makes a huge difference in impact on their mouth,
Right.
but on their self-esteem. I don't even know how you can measure that. Because now they walk around, they walk straighter, they walk stronger. They're ready to take on the world. Right. We tried these last night. I seen all about this product online. I used to guess, like, what is that? What is that glowing thing in their mouth before? Because I would see Gronk have it. I would see, I know Kylie Jenner posted it. I mean, I've seen Chuck Liddell. I've seen Floyd Mayweather. I've even think Conor McGregor had it on when he was getting a haircut.
Pratt,
and it was just like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. And Ernesto tells me, hey, you won't believe what's going on right now. And I'm like, what's going on, man? And he tells me, and I'm like, nah, bro, they're messing with you, man. Somebody's messing
he
with
sent me
you.
a text. He goes, is this the Josh Snow from Social? And I was like,
You're like,
it
it's
is.
me.
It is.
It's me.
It really is. It really is. And I'm coming in hot, but I've been, and I'm so excited that, Supreme Dental is the first and only distributor and exclusive retailer of Snow products and algodonas and beyond. But it's, I've spent 10 years building this business. We've sold 100 million treatments. This product alone has sold millions of units. We just launched this in Costco in the United States. It's in Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks, Walgreens, CVS. And this is the original. And I had a dream as a young Hispanic kid. So Snow is the #1 Hispanic-owned oral care brand in the world.
Congratulations, man. This is crazy.
Thank you. So we're right up there, and Crest and Colgate are our friends. We get to sit right next to them. And our focus is on better for you oral care. So how can we make oral care better for the patient? So for example, in our teeth whitening serum, we have better for you whitening in minutes. And on the back, we have potassium nitrate. So this is the first and only OTC, over-the-counter whitening product. It's our Diamond series. Make your teeth like diamonds. And we believe that diamonds live forever.
Right.
And they should. And we're going to make sure of that. And this is really where it bridges the gap. We're at home and you're everything else. And that's that combination of how do people take care of their teeth at home? Like we have our veneer toothpaste. If you have veneers, we have a veneer polish that you're really going to like, veneer gel. But this is the first over-the-counter whitening product, essentially, that we had to put drug facts on the back.
Wow.
With the potassium nitrate, which is used in Sensodyne. So you get multiple whiteners in one. We've got the hydrogen peroxide. We've got stevia to sweeten it. We've got peppermint oil inside of there and hydroxyapatite to remineralize your teeth. And then, of course, our famous LED acceleration inside of there. And that was my dream. I started it in my house, and nobody wanted to join me in the beginning, so I became a solo founder. So I still own majority of the company. And, this was the first one that crossed $1 million in sales, and we started selling these for $149 each kit.
And the cool thing, you even have a shade guide and user manual here. So there's no, oh yeah, they did get whiter. You could check them on yourself.
Yeah.
You can see it yourself.
Oh, we're all results driven, and our return rate is like 0.1%.
Yeah.
Nobody returns our product.
In transparency, I mean, and to me, in any business, transparency is number one.
For sure.
And no, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations. As you said it before, Supreme Dental, we're very, very happy to be part with Snow. Supreme Dental being, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the first dental clinic in Mexico to be sponsored by Snow.
That's correct.
So thank you so much for that. Tell me, obviously we know how you came up with the name.
Yeah.
But tell me, how did this start, man? Like, how did you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done. There's a need. People need this. Because normally, and I'm going to tell you the truth, normally, I got a whitening back in the day. I'm talking about 16, 17, you know, when you want to be in your best.
Yeah.
Not that you don't now. Love you,
No,
baby,
that's true. The same.
But, and guess what? Like, my teeth were sensitive for, I don't know how long. And I was so scared of doing anything else. Yeah, exactly. I would breathe in and it would hurt, you know, and now this is a game changer.
It's a game changer. That was exactly the antithesis of why, and the hypothesis that I had around whitening, that if we could solve sensitivity while ramping up the whitening. So if we look at the Toyota Prius, Leonardo DiCaprio was driving a Prius. The guy's mega loaded, but he lives in California. He needs to signal that the eco-friendly is part of his identity. That was all he could buy. That was all that was there. It was a Prius and like the Nissan Leaf, and there was like a couple that came out. And then Tesla, Elon hired the designer from Aston Martin. So if you research Aston Martin Rapide S, Tesla Model S, they're about 90% identical.
Wow.
So he took, sell them what they want, give them what they need. And so that was kind of the idea that I initially had, is that which oral care brand can the Kardashians actually use? And so if you go to a supermodel show, you go in the back room, 80% of those girls are using one of my product. And it's a high-end, and we sponsored Miss Universe Australia. I mean, so many things that we sponsored to build that essence. Well, we also sponsored the UFC. Men have teeth, women have teeth, kids have teeth. And so I think initially, I've always been an entrepreneur since I was 13. And 22 years old, I was undergoing jaw surgery. And I told my oral surgeon, my orthodontist, and my dentist at the time, I said, hey, let's have a dinner. I have an idea. I want to get into your space. I'm not a dentist. We can't do any of the services or anything like that. What can I do? And he said, well, teeth whitening is one of the things we do that takes up chair time. It's not very lucrative. We use it to bring people in and as an upsell, but it's not like the core service. And I go, a lot of people have teeth. A lot of people want to whiten. I've been whitening since I was 13. I had sensitive teeth. I stopped whitening because I had sensitive teeth. And so what if I could take essentially Sensodyne and all of these sensitive kind of products, infuse them in, maybe I could ramp up the whitening and add multiple whiteners. So I started to experiment with carbamide peroxide. Carbamide peroxide breaks down to hydrogen peroxide. So if I put hydrogen peroxide and then a little bit more carbamide, the hydrogen's gonna hit first, and then the carbamide's gonna break down and give a kicker, which means the longer you wear it, the more results you get, but you can control the sensitivity. Then adding potassium nitrate, like in these guys, now and hydroxyapatite, now you're remineralizing 97% of your tooth enamel is hydroxyapatite. So we're remineralizing while we're whitening harder. So sell them what they want, give them what they need. I want fast results, quick. I want it to last a long time, but what they need is vitamins and all these other things.
So you didn't aim to, this is what you need, this is what you want, but this is actually what you need to get what you want.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Correct.
You know, you were talking about, it's the same thing here. So for example, here at Supreme, a patient comes in because it's so much cheaper than it is in the United States.
Yes.
And we talk veneers, we talk crowns, we talk implants, all on 4, all on 6s, those big things. We've seen up to $105,000 estimate.
Yep.
You know, and now we talk about the price, and a lot of people come down for the price. A lot of people come down for the price and they see it with quality. Okay. But when they're down here, it's on us. It's our job to show them what makes us different. The 10 international accreditations are great.
Sure.
You know,
the proof's in the pudding, though. That's
proof is in the pudding. That's exactly right.
They come down for the price. They're nervous. It's Mexico. I had to travel here. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, everybody speaks English, especially at Supreme Dental. Everyone's smart, speaks English. Like everything's just perfect. And meanwhile, in the U.S. or in Canada, you got to wait weeks and weeks just to get a call back. And it's like, that's crazy. Ernesto called me in 1 second. So like, and talked to me right away in perfect English. Like that's something, I think there's a misconception around medical tourism. And I think mostly the older population, which gets quoted those 105,000 because they have so much work to be done, implants, all on fours, all of those. But even the cosmetic as well as in the earlier crowd. But I think there's a misconception about, is it going to be bad quality? I'm going to get a janky job if I leave. I'm like, man, if I go to a mechanic that just does, so one of my mentors, Bruce Halley, started Discount Tire.
Well,
and they just sell tires, right? And I tried to recommend to him because I was young and I was excited. And I said, Bruce, you guys got to do oil changes and brakes. Then you can make more money, right? Richest guy in Arizona, billions and billions. And he said, we tried that in the 80s. It doesn't work. We do one thing really, really well. We sell tires. And then I came to him with another idea. You need to create your own tire. He said, why would I do that? I control the supply chain. We're the largest retailer in the world. Why would I want to take on all the labor laws, China, all this stuff? So I think that's a part of a specialization. And I think that obviously Los Algodones is the dental capital of the world. There's no disputing it. There's no other economy that is built around this competition layer. You just have happened, you and your wife have spent 17 years building the best quality, capturing and training the very best people and retaining them, and everybody's happy. Like, you just have that, you take the Olympics and then you take 17 years of you guys mastering that. And that's what Supreme Dental is. It's both of those. If you told me you're the best dentist in Kennesaw or some small town in Michigan,
you'd be like,
you're the best dentist, like you guys are the best dental company in Los Algodones. That's different. And so like we're the best brand in a lot of places, social media, we're the number one at Nordstrom, all these places. That means a little bit more when it makes sense, right? If you're the number one teeth whitening kit at Costco like we are, it means something a little bit more because Costco is so competitive, so hard to get into.
That means it works.
It's exactly.
That means it works. Yeah. We are, we know that here in Molar, they call it Molar City. Los Algodones want to rename it Molar City.
Right.
But being the number one clinic here, we are the only clinic in Mexico with 10 international accreditation in their history.
Right.
So we needed to do something. Long time ago, someone told me, you cannot be as good as a clinic in the United States. You need to be better. Because that's what makes the big difference. Somebody comes down like yourself.
Right.
You can go anywhere.
For sure.
You could have taken Amanda to Turkey.
For sure. Anywhere.
Maybe she wanted to be in
down
Italy
the road.
better.
I could take her to Beverly Hills. I could take her to New York City.
Exactly.
I can go to the most expensive quote I can grab.
Exactly.
I am not looking for that. I'm looking for quality, mastery, and expertise.
That comes with years. That comes with training. And just like you, we're not dentists. My wife and I are not dentists.
Right.
So I think that's just a perfect combination, man. Because if you were a dentist, and nothing against dentists, I think they're amazing. We have amazing staff, but they think, they're so worried on someone's mouth.
Right.
I let them worry about that.
Yeah.
And I worry about, my wife and I, about everything
else.
And that's just the perfect combination.
Specialization. So the way I've built all of my businesses is higher value work. So what is the highest value work that you can be doing and how much can you get your team to do of that per day? Specialization equals mastery over time, especially. And then you build a moat. So what you just said is business mastery right there, because even my 88-year-old mentor, Mr. Mort Fleischer, amazing guy, 15 plus years. You hire great people and you get out of the way, you support them, you empower them. But zone of genius is very important. And the way that I lead companies is high expectation, low pressure. Because if you hire the right people, they have internal dialogues of pressure, their own gauge that pushes them to be great. That's something that a chip on their shoulder. And something you mentioned to me was about that I really connected to yesterday was that you hire such great people. And I remember hiring like one of my first really amazing people. And it's like getting LeBron James or Tom Brady, and they say, I'll join your team.
Yeah.
We're starting the Supreme Snow team, and Tom Brady, we need you. And he says, yes. LeBron James says, yes. And then me and you are freaking out. We're waxing the floor, making sure the basketball court is perfect. The balls are all aired up to the way that he likes it. And there's a layer that makes you uncomfortable in the beginning when you hire extreme talent and then you raise them. But you mentioned how great talent pushes you to become a better leader.
Absolutely.
You and your wife every day are figuring out how can we better serve these amazing people that we somehow got in, but we know now we're a good fit. And then you build this loyalty over 17 years of constantly feeding each other growth and retaining them. Because that's something that a lot of people don't understand is you hire really, really, really good people, retaining them and growing with them as they push you is like, it's an art. It's not easy. It's not easy.
And you actually even said, you've seen the different people that we have in our staff and our team, our Supreme family.
Right.
One thing is I got to go to work.
Yeah.
And one thing is I like what I do.
They do.
And to like what you do is Amanda's smile result.
Right.
That she loves what she does.
Right.
Dulce loves what she does. Our doctors love what they do. And they're that you could be like, oh, no, it's perfect. And she'll be like, no, we're going to send this one back to the lab if needed.
Yes.
Or we're going to take our time, or we're going to do whatever it is, because her number one priority is your mouth, is your smile.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
I don't even know, by you selling these millions and millions, how many lives you have changed, how many people's mouths you have
man, I
touched.
got to tell you something, Frank, and I'm sure you probably have the same feeling, you and your wife, but there have been, over the last 10 years, especially in building this business, I bootstrapped it to $100 million in sales, and nobody wanted to invest, nobody wanted to partner. And after a while, I didn't really want them to, because I was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. You know? But there's every time that I've had a really hard time or I've reached burnout in a season, that's why I look at my life as seasons now. So if this is a season that has burnout in it, burnout is really a lack of clarity of what's next. So I have to constantly be thinking of what's next so that I don't burn out, right? But in those moments when I look at the reviews and I see the testimonials and all of this from my own customers, right? And in your case, you guys' own patients, the life-changing nature that a smile has on someone's confidence is extraordinary. And I think that is in those dark times that I've had where I had to self-fund Snow to $100 million and just trying to figure it out, not giving up. And I look at those testimonials and you realize that, you're changing someone's life through the way they feel about themselves, whether it's getting a better job, maybe they're single and they're trying to date and they find the love of their life. I mean, there's so many scenarios that a smile impacts someone's life, and being able to offer that to them with a lot of value and service, you feel compelled, you feel divinely responsible in some ways that you have to do this. I must do this. And those are those moments that keep you going. And then after 17, 18 years, everybody will take your call. Everybody wants to invest. Everybody wants to work with you.
Everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody knew you were going to blow up.
Of course.
I had seen it coming, everybody.
Of course.
And the beauty that a smile brings to someone's face.
Incredible.
And we have so many patients that...
And their energy. The energy changes.
It changes them. It's like it sounds as fun as it sounds. We take pictures of before.
Right.
And we take pictures of after.
Yes.
We have pictures of a patient that came in before we had their work done and after. It could be 3, 4, 5 days after. It's a different glow.
Yes,
their eyes look different. Their smile look different. Me and George have talked about it. Like, my gosh, it's a different person.
It's an aura. So the aura, I think, that I've examined, and I read every single review that comes in. They're fun to read. And every review that comes in, you see so many scenarios. I was recently divorced. I lack confidence.
I just lost somebody.
I smoked cigarettes for 40 years, and I feel so bad about doing that. And now I don't smile in photos anymore. Oh, man. And then you see the after, and it's intoxicating as someone who's a business owner in the space, because you want to help people feel better about themselves. And, it's something I talk about even with my barber. I have the same barber, right, forever.
Yeah, so have
Isaac, and right, and that's my guy. That's your guy. And so, I told Isaac, I said, "You're in the same business as me, Because when I leave the barbershop, I feel fresh. I feel good, more confident. I'm going to go up and do whatever I want to do. And that's the business that we're in. And I think that in duality, one, people should know that they can take better care of their smiles at home with Snow. And two, in the event that anything they need, do not delay it. Call Supreme Dental, get a quote, be shocked at the prices, but be even more shocked at how, like, the value, even if you would have paid the same. Compare it to the best Beverly Hills, New York. You guys are still going to beat them. And then it's going to be, half the cost or whatever, but it's the quality of the work, the service, the speed, the convenience, the quality of life of not having to wait weeks to get an impression back, weeks to get this stuff back. It doesn't make sense anymore. I think modern oral care is Snow at home, and then anything you need, Supreme Dental.
Wow.
Take a flight. Why not use those credits? Anything you spend on the flight is it's a joke. And then the quality of safety, just quality of service, staff, and then just the way you guys have interior designed everything. I don't think I've ever been in a nicer overall clinic in my life. It's just overall the experience. So I think that's the thing, is at home, take care of yourself with Snow. And then if something comes up, don't feel like you have to delay your quality of life because you have something going on, or you need an all-on-4, or you're looking for veneers and you want to go and do that thing. I'll tell you that having a beautiful, beautiful smile that everyone has access to truly over time is such a beautiful blessing. And it's something that you and your wife, I can see, are addicted to the same way I am, is helping people feel better about themselves. And your entire staff feels the same way. Dr. Dulce is eager for that finished result because she knows, and I started scrolling through all the amazing work. I mean, the amount of work and perfect. And I'm watching that seeking of that feeling that your staff has as well, to please and to make sure that everyone's super happy. My whole team is the same way. We respond to every review. We have the highest Trustpilot rating in the world. We have the highest rating on BBB. Everything you can find, we are so obsessed with the customer, and seeing how you guys are obsessed with your staff, who are as the owners, and then your staff and you guys as well are then obsessed with the care of the patient and making sure they're always okay. That's what builds a great brand. And 17 years in, 18 years in, we know that if you do that in repetition, you've got something very, very beautiful. And because you and your wife are so young, just like myself, we have a lot of people, millions of people that we are responsible to help together. And I think that combination, for Americans, Canadians, because it's close by, but truly, I would say, even against I've looked at everywhere, right? And I've used ChatGPT. I'm an AI freak. So I look at everything, and you guys just come up. And what was really cool, like I said, is that the proof is in the pudding. So being able to be here, and I'm so, I'm the business, so I'm skeptical and I'm very tough because I'm in the business, right? And if it's my girlfriend, I'm going to be extra aggressive around protecting and all this. And you guys have done such a good job, and I'm so proud of what you guys have built. And it's an honor to be able to carry Snow products exclusively with you guys, and be able to grow that business together and help more people when they leave Supreme, take care of their teeth kind of on the way out. We have everything from the water flossers you guys are going to be carrying, which is really nice for veneer patients, implant patients, so many. So you guys, and I will say for everybody listening, Frank and his wife said both equally that the importance of giving amazing at-home oral care to their patients is number one. It's not about selling product and doing all that stuff. It's about finding the very best for the patients to go home with, and that's something that means a lot to me. So I think that's important for listeners to know that this isn't a typical sponsorship or anything like that. These are, at this time, two individuals that are obsessed with helping people feel more confident about themselves and figuring out how we can work together to do more of that. And that's really, that's something that we both connected on.
Beautiful. That was beautifully said, man. Beautifully said. Shout out to my beautiful wife. She designed everything.
She's so good.
I told Josh and Amanda, all I did was I picked the TVs. That's everything I picked. Everything else has been colors to everything. Also, and that's funny that you said about the haircut. I got a haircut this morning because I'm going to be in the podcast with Josh Snow. So I better get a podcast haircut. Shout out to a New Era barbershop, my barber, Chris Renteria, and more than anything, man, I think you just say it 100%. Use Snow.
That's true.
Get you up and running. And this is an amazing product, 100%.
Thank you.
If you need something more,
that's right.
We're Supreme. And after Supreme, to take care of it, you go back to Snow because you guys have so many different products. So
yes, we do.
It's like I said, what can I say, man? I was truly surprised. But more than anything, what truly surprised me, and I told you yesterday, was your humility, your way of being you. You have people that probably sells their products. I mean, not even their mom know that they sell their products, but you're walking around like, hey man, it's you're so approachable. I had a picture of you in my mind, completely different. You know what I'm saying? And then when I met you, I was like, huh. Like it just threw me off because how many times did you walk in a meeting or did you walk in to present your product and everybody around you is older?
Oh yeah.
So they're just like, oh, this guy's a joke, especially being when we were younger,
For sure.
And now, I mean, we're in a different level of age, different level of everything. And that takes a toll on some people. We had somebody working at our clinic that we gave them the opportunity, not even a dentist, but to do something else. And within a month or two, they wouldn't talk to half the staff. And I'm like, what just happened right now?
Right.
And I think that level of your human aspect of it makes just Snow be over the top.
Well, I really, really thank you, and I appreciate you calling that out. The products that I've created, everything is created in-house, world first, multiple patents and all that. But like a chef, an entrepreneur is like a chef, and we create a product or a service that we want to share with a lot of people, just like you and your wife have. Yeah. And, everything happens for a reason. And I'm so excited about the Supreme and Snow collaboration and partnership. And it truly is everything from packaging, every single fractal patterning inside of here, the viscosity of the toothpaste, the foaminess. I'm hyper obsessed over every element, just like my team, just like you guys are. And it's just, we do products, you do services, and it's really beautiful to find that. And I appreciate you mentioning that because at the end of the day, I grew up with, $2. I'm a first generation Hispanic broke kid from West Phoenix, taking this Valley Metro city bus, and to be able to sell over $1 billion of my products now and have millions of people using the product every day, and to know that we're just getting started. 8 billion people have teeth.
Insane.
So, God willing, we live long enough. We help as many people as we can through our businesses, our nonprofits and everything. But I appreciate you mentioning that because you don't have to be an asshole to be rich. You can be a good guy too. And money makes you more of who you are. So the faster people work on that before they make a lot of money, the better it's going to be. And I think you live a much better life. And I've really appreciated getting to know your wife, your staff, your entire team. They're a reflection of what you guys believe in.
Thank you.
And it's a culture, right? And it's a culture that's beautiful. And I'm excited for you to meet the rest of my team as well. They're the same.
Yeah.
They're very, very similar.
It's a culture. And then also you push your team to a level.
Yeah.
And that level now becomes normal.
Yes.
And that's how you keep
standard.
That's how you keep on growing.
That's it.
It was so hard to get at some point. Now it just becomes a standard.
Yes.
And we start from there when everybody tells me here, man, when everybody's starting to do something that you were doing, you already started doing 3 other things.
Yeah.
It's all about, the world's a different world than it was 30 minutes ago. It's all about different things, and
you guys never stop. That's the thing and we don't stop either. So,
yeah.
And that's kind of, a shark never stops swimming, right? Because they die. That's the myth, right? And so I'm not going to stop swimming. I'm not a shark, but I'm going to keep swimming and I'm going to keep competing. And this is our sport. This is our sport, is helping 100%. People feel more confident about themselves, creating jobs for other people so they get to taste that as well firsthand. And that's a really, really beautiful thing, because you and your wife could have started any business just like I could have. I'm not a dentist either. I could have started any business, but to start something that allows people to get access to value and affordable oral care at home and in person is something that we both collaborate on. And it's a noble cause, and it's not easy to do. And, it takes 15 plus years to figure out.
Not just that, we could have taken shortcuts. You could have taken shortcuts.
For sure.
How many times did you go for something that was more expensive, but it was going to work better, and it was better for the patient?
I know.
For the customer. Every single time, and people take these shortcuts.
They do.
And they're not about, we talked about this yesterday, they're not about the long run.
Reputation and long run. If you got enough 50 years, especially when you're in our business, when people have teeth forever, and even if they don't have teeth, we can take care of that too. Like that's a lifetime value of a customer, the reputation. And I think it does come down to standard though, because even people understand that if they don't have that standard that they hold themselves to protect their reputation at any cost, then they're going to take those shortcuts, and short term they're going to seem like they're winning, and then I can tell you, as you know, the longer you're in business, the more you see people fall left and right. We had recently Smile Direct Club go out of business. We've seen Crest shut down their direct to consumer website to sell stuff online. So we've seen the shifts. And you got to just stay as an entrepreneur. You stay convicted. You take care of your people.
Consistency.
And consistent.
Consistency.
That's a brand.
Key. Consistency.
That's the brand.
And the thing is what's crazy is if we had a day to go over all the different clinics that have closed here in Algodones, and shortcuts left and right.
Exactly.
Shortcuts left and right.
Right.
Hey, but they're doing this already, but they're not ready to do it. Where did they go to learn? They went across the street. We went across the world.
Right.
And we're still not ready. We got to go somewhere else,
Standard.
And we talked about how we developed an implant.
Right.
We developed all the way to Israel.
That's insane.
I just got a call, and I just told you about it before. I just got a call that we're going to be on a live surgery with over 40 countries.
Whew.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
You have worked with so many celebrities. And just to let you guys know, you guys can't really see this, but the attention to detail in this box is meticulous. This is insane. You could have just done a white box, but you didn't do that. You on the side, you have the dentist approved, which is very important.
Yeah.
Clinically approved.
It is.
Very important. Award winning. Okay. And non-toxic.
For sure.
That's huge too.
For sure.
But everything is just like, you put your brand even on the bottom of the box.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is
Dr. Michelle yesterday, or it was the other day, she was telling me at Eternal Beauty that she told her boyfriend that she really liked the packaging of the overnight lip treatment.
Yeah.
So she had just the packaging in her pocket. She kept it. And she's like, look. And so the meticulous nature that we use to make the packaging, it's the same way, right? Attention to detail, hyper obsession over the customer-centric obsession to figure out how do we make it easier to open? How do we make it more obvious? How do we make it feel better so that when people use it, it feels really good, like skincare and hair care and all these other places. Why can't oral care feel like that? Because when it's a nice serum or something, people want to use it. And so, that was my dream, was to combine oral care, beauty, and nutrition/supplements. So put vitamins in it, beauty, and then make it look kind of like the Apple and Dyson and Tesla of oral care.
It's all here.
And we think that people, if they like it and they're excited and they invest a little in it, they'll take care of it. And so that's the whole goal of Snow is in between seeing your dental professional, how can we take the best care of you?
You hold this box, you look at the box, not even looking at anything else. All the celebrities, all the different tests have you guys done, it screams out quality.
Thank you.
It screams out quality, somebody that took the time to think about the things that people care about.
Yes.
And that's the things that when you get to the clinic, everything that you see, all the brands that you see are from, mostly the United States.
Right.
If it's something to do with dental, like implants and stuff, we pick the best in the world to do it. Right. But everything that we have from the scanner, you've seen the pig dental that I told you from Spain, from our milling machines that looks like we're inside like a Pac-Man world,
Yes.
where it's the big milling machines. And
that's why I really you have to be able to acknowledge it, because I'm a builder in that same way. And so being able to have the attention to detail, the best packaging, the best formula. Our factories in Ireland and Scotland that produce our dissolving strips, your connections to the very best, the machinery. And you have, I mean, I think a lot of times in other countries, they're going to hold on to that machinery as long as they can.
Yeah.
And you guys have it, just especially Supreme Dental, out of all, that standard. And it's a standard that everybody has in your lab, like every single layer that you have. And I appreciate it because it's an overnight success story that takes 15 years, right?
Yeah.
But you iterate upon by listening to the customer, listening to the market. And so we think about, we have about 6 designs of this teeth whitening kit in terms of packaging based on the retailer or where we're selling it. So Costco has one in a blister pack, and it's a similar product, but it's in a blister pack and it kind of matches the Costco environment. So thinking about that, again, anticipation. Details and anticipation. Those are the things, and then consistency. And that's one of the things you see in my branding, one of the things you see in your branding, every single place, consistency. Because they said it used to take 7 times for someone to see your brand to remember it. We're so low attention nowadays with TikTok and everything. It takes like 20 times, 30 times. But by the time I showed up for Supreme Dental, so smoothly you layered in the branding so you know where to go. It's almost like a yellow brick road to your brand. And that's takes one of my mentors, Dr. Robert Cialdini, wrote a book called Influence, and then he wrote a book called Persuasion. And that Persuasion book is something that I would say is the highest level of service you can provide. Okay. Persuasion is to persuade prior to. So by the time you show up, if you know I like Sunny D, you already have it there. Oh, how did they know I like Sunny D? How did they know I was a little nervous? That anticipation creates the persuasion so that you don't have to actively sell. And it's not, in my opinion, and in Dr. Robert Cialdini, my mentors, it's the highest level of sales is anticipation, is the highest level of service. So what happens is if you can master service, you don't have to sell.
Right. That's 100%. That's 100%. Because if you have such a good product, for example, in ours, that we have the 10 international accreditations.
Correct.
You walk in, you have those 2 big TVs, you see the scanners.
Right.
You see white.
Yes.
You see, like, it's like we're like a snow commercial.
Yeah.
I seen the Gronkowski commercial. Yeah. I'm like, that could have been filmed at Supreme. And everything is just white. Everything, it looks like a spaceship.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
People are, patients, when they get in, they're looking around, and then they somebody comes in that speaks English, and that, we have Supreme TV.
Yes.
That while you're sitting down in reception, you could be learning about different patients, different doctors, different everything. That George got that.
You know what's amazing is about Supreme is that the staff, obviously, like everybody, for the most part, like, speaks better English than like some of the doctors I work with in the U.S., right? Because, some of them are, first generation and stuff, and they have an accent. I have never had a problem. Obviously, I speak Spanish, but my girlfriend Amanda has it's so smooth.
Thank you.
And it's like, I have more issue. We just came back from Miami, and I love Miami. And, all the Uber drivers are obviously, and I speak Spanish.
Yeah,
it's fine, right? But, one of my friends trying to utilize it doesn't speak Spanish. It's harder for them to get around in Miami than it is in Algodones. And that's so crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because this it's so close to the border. It's so safe. You got the Q casino on the way out if you want to go hang out for a night and have some fun at the casino.
Where did you guys came from Yuma? You guys came
and then through Yuma, yeah. Did you see Scottsdale?
Our billboard's over there too. I don't know if you seen
saw
it. You seen that?
Oh, I've seen
all
of
that
it.
Has lights coming from the side. Yeah, cool.
That was the other side. I was like, oh yeah, these guys know what they're doing.
It's coming from the side.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, now welcome back because the batteries ran out.
Yeah, that's right.
And I did not want to end it there.
We're not ending there.
We talked about, you worked with celebrities before.
Yes.
And you were telling me a story about Gronkowski.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me that
Robbie
story.
boy. He's just one of the most amazing, beautiful people. His brothers are awesome. The whole family, the whole Gronk family is amazing. And we were actually in Vegas celebrating his retirement from the Patriots, which we know he went back with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay. But we walked into Chaos, Palms, actually. We walked into Palms to check in. And, of course, he's huge. And so people recognize him right away. Is that Gronk? Is that Gronk? And the guy just starts breakdancing. and just signing autographs and hanging out with people. And that's truly who that guy is, an amazing, amazing person. And that's who we like to work with, people that have either great smiles or help people smile.
Right.
So we work with comedians, all kinds of people, of course, all the Real Housewives, all the teen moms, every reality star we work with, most of the Kardashians, of course, across the board. I mean, all types of people. Chuck Liddell with the UFC, the Iceman, Floyd Mayweather, a lot of awesome people now. Now today, we mostly work with our customers and people on TikTok that have very few followers. That's the majority of our online sales today. But in the beginning, it was very useful because people buy from who they like and trust. And if you're not big enough, they don't know you yet, they don't know you enough to like you, certainly not to trust you. So you can hijack that by utilizing celebrities, especially if you have a great service like we do, a great company that exponentially grows the exposure to what you have. But if you have a really bad business, and we've seen so many in the last 10 years especially, they go and get a celebrity endorsement and it actually kills their business because they don't have the right structure. They're not ready for that type of deal. But yeah, we've gotten a chance to work with so many. And I didn't know a thing about Hollywood when I started doing that. I just knew that if I wanted to build the oral care leader in beauty, I needed to go to Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, all of the publications, that were female-oriented, that were fashion-oriented. And then I threw in Rob Gronkowski and Chuck Liddell to mix in the men. But men were, and I invented the ability to plug it into your phone. And that was something that was really fascinating. But the reason why Rob Gronkowski and Chuck Liddell were particularly interested is they both use mouthpieces. Mm. So Chuck Liddell uses a mouthpiece to fight. Rob uses one to play football, right? And they go, oh, this is a mouthpiece. It just has the LED to whiten your teeth, and I can plug it into my phone. This is awesome. And so I think that some of the celebrities that have been the most successful that we've worked with, Ellen DeGeneres, Wendy Williams, every talk show, I think the ones that make people smile are really important. So we have one guy that I did a promotion on early on, and he was on the Howard Stern show, and he was on a movie, Scary Movie 2, and he's hilarious. They call him Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And so Beetlejuice doesn't have any teeth, right? He's got like two. We might have to bring him into Supreme, actually.
Hey,
that might be. It. He could use that, but he's hilarious. And he did a promo for, I think it was our teeth whitening kit or our floss, and it was one of the highest return on investments we did.
Really?
Even though the guy doesn't have teeth, but he makes people laugh,
right?
And he's known for not having teeth. So then that was about 6 or 7 years ago when I figured out it's not just the people with perfect teeth that we want to promote with. It's the people that have real stories about their teeth and things like that. And that started kind of that inkling of we got to work with our customers as well.
Word of mouth?
Word of mouth.
The biggest marketing.
Yeah. And how do you scale word of mouth? Well, you get people with the large reach to do word of mouth. And that's how you scale the most profit. If you ask any business owner in the world, they're going to tell you that referral marketing is their most profitable source.
By far.
Of course it is, because someone's telling someone else about their experience. You don't have to even sell them. So how do you scale that? Well, you take a story and then you increase the reach of that story with people that connect to that story. And now you don't have to sell as much. And if they have enough like and trustability, then you don't have to sell. You sell even less. And now you just let the results speak for itself. And that was my way to cut into the oral care business, was to go with Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks, these high-end retailers that you wouldn't find someone like Crest and Colgate in. It would be maybe perhaps a little bit weird to see them in Neiman Marcus. And then we went after dermatologists before we went after dentists. So we built our dermatology network first, because we said, well, wait a second, we're going in and get dermatology stuff like Eternal Beauty. Why wouldn't you want to take a teeth whitening kit home or some strips home and work on that on your way home? On your drive home, you got whiter teeth after getting Botox, Juvederm, etc. Why not have that little extra add-on?
Yeah, of course.
And the dermatologists aren't qualified to whiten necessarily in chair, so it was the perfect combination.
Yeah.
So I went after dermatologists, Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Al, Neiman, Nordstrom, to create kind of this juxtaposition to the market where no one else can get into, because it wouldn't make sense. Jack Ma from Alibaba said, they asked him early on when he was a teacher, broke, right? The biggest e-commerce company in the world is Alibaba, right? And he sat there and they said, how are you going to compete against eBay and all these big players? And he said, we're going to beat them in the Yangtze River first. So the local river full of crocodiles, right? We're going to beat them here, and then we're going to beat them in the ocean. So we're going to get trained here, and then we're going to beat them. And they did. They're the biggest e-commerce company in the world.
Wow.
And so for me, it was, let me start with Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks, Vogue, Al, places that you normally wouldn't see my competition in, and create that image, and then tie that to a brand that celebrities actually use. So celebrities order our products now. So we don't do as much celebrity marketing anymore. But everyone from Bella Thorne to a Kardashian, name them, they actually use our products and they pay for them today.
Well, so you had told me about you were going to tell me about a story of Gronk, how he had how he started the whitening.
So I met Robert Gronkowski, and he had never whitened his teeth in his life, and he's like, I have super sensitive teeth. I don't whiten my teeth because of that. And I said, I promise you, that's why I started the business, and that's what we're most famous for now. And he said, so you're telling me if I use this for 3 weeks, I'm not going to have any sensitivity or less than the other systems, and I'm going to have whiter teeth? I said, yes. And then he says, well, if that happens, I'm going to call you. And it took about 3 weeks. He calls me and says, I need to be a part of this business. I need to be a part of it.
And you have it right now, right there.
Yeah, this is it right here. This is the LED technology.
Hooked up to your phone right now.
It's hooked up directly to my phone. You can hook up to an iPad, laptop, iRobot, whatever you got. And he put this in your mouth. It has a case on it right now. Obviously, we work inside the mouth and around the mouth, so everything is heat sealed and covers, but it's got a little open me on there. So when you open this up, you have the most comfortable mouthpiece that you can set inside of your mouth, and that blue light is going to help accelerate the whitening of the multi-ingredient whitening formula that we've created.
I know you don't have to hear from me, but congratulations on
Thank you.
That is insane. You have different chargers, different ports.
Oh, we got it all.
For different, I mean, it's like you didn't just think about a product of whitening. You didn't just think about them easy to hook up to the phone, but you are pre-approaching the problem before it even happens, so it doesn't become a problem.
Anticipation. Oh, you have a laptop. Oh, you have a whatever you got, right? You can I've seen people plug this into some of the craziest things, but as long as there's a power source, and that was the whole idea, is that the initial version was a battery-powered one that went in their mouth.
Okay.
And I started to read the reviews on how people were using it, and they're using it while they're cleaning the house, while they're doing laundry, while they're taking off their makeup, while they're driving to work, while they're doing yoga, working out, all these crazy things. And I said, well, wait a second. And of course, we have the wireless version completely now without with rechargeable battery and all this stuff. But this one right here, the thing that they always had close to them was their phone.
Always.
So they're taking off their makeup, music's playing right next to them. So I said, well, if we could power it from here, we could make the mouthpiece way more comfortable, smaller, more compact, more universal as well. And we could put more LEDs on the actual mouthpiece so that the effects are that much more pronounced. And so that was the thinking was, well, they're cleaning the house, but what's within reach? Usually even in their pocket, right? So what they could do is you put this in your pocket, and you put this in your mouth, and you still have enough space to vacuum and do what you need to do.
And you're a tall guy.
So you can just put this in your mouth. You've got the mouthpiece still. You've got plenty of space. I'm a pretty tall guy, so I've got plenty of space here. And that's one of the things we did is when I first came out with it, the cable wasn't long enough. So people were saying, well, when I vacuum, it kind of pulls on my phone or it falls out. And so listening to the customer, well, I have an Android, I have an iPad, I have this. We ship to 100 countries. So it's like, which thing? And then Apple was driving me nuts for a while because every time they were changing Thunderbolt, USB-C, and I'm like, man, because then we have to upgrade all of our connectors. And so we created a special port. And then this piece right here, that is a splitter essentially. And we've put a lot of work into the technology of the splitter so that it's equally powerful across the board. It knows how to convert the energy to the LED.
Yeah.
And we use the exact nanometric range For blue, our wireless one has red, which is for gum health, and then we've got purple, which is both combined. So if you want to whiten and get the benefits of the gum support, you can do that. But this is the original. This is all whitening, blue, incredibly comfortable. It's got the case on it, you can pop on, and you can travel with it as well and keep it sanitary. Wow. So it's got it all. But it didn't start this way. We just, every 3 months, we take all of our customer feedback. We use AI to read everyone else's customer feedback. So every Amazon review from our competitors, we read, we summarize, and that way we can anticipate what the problems are of their new products and make it in ours.
Nothing like this. I've never seen anything like this before. I really haven't. What we wanted to do at Supreme, we wanted to give you high quality, but what do patients don't want to do? They can't get that much time off of work.
Right.
They can't come next week.
Right.
They can't come in 2 weeks.
Right.
So why don't we go out and we do our own lab and we get the best technology from the way I don't want to get an impression and put it on Amanda and be like, okay, well, we'll hope to God that perhaps nothing happened to the impression. We want to scan her in so it goes directly to the lab already.
Right.
Quick. We don't have to run an hour, 2 hours of how this happens or how that happens. And we got that. Then we got the milling machines that mill fast, and we have the zirconia or whatever it is there. So everything we have, Emax or whatever, everything is there.
I got to see it yesterday. I was blown away. I mean, you guys
seen how it was milling, milling somebody's mouth, and you guys got to see what it looks like before you put the makeup on, the ceramic. So everything that we did was thinking of what patients were saying. I don't go to Mexico because it's unsafe. Well, let's see if somebody can. We have the hotel you guys are staying at right now. And it's right there. Nobody else can stay in it.
Literally the same building.
Yeah. And it's feet away.
It's 10, 15 feet.
You guys are right above us, actually, in one of the suites.
15 feet.
And you guys come down.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And what else don't you want? Well, I don't want to stay there so long. Well, let's work on not losing the quality.
Right.
But making things faster. Well, we got to go to better trainings. Well, let's go. Where? What's in Spain? We'll fly out there.
Prague.
Well, it's in Prague. Dr. Dulce. We'll fly out there. Well, it's in Brazil. I wish I could go, but go for it. You know? My kids are in school. I can't travel.
Right.
And it's that's what we did here at Supreme is we got something. We didn't try to reinvent something. We just made it
better.
Yes. You know,
toothpaste has been invented forever. I just want to make it better. What if it had hydroxyapatite, vitamins, no artificial colors, no artificial flavors? What if it's actually good for you? And what if it was the same cost to the customer? In my case, right? We have Crest, Colgate, etc., but it has vitamins. It doesn't have fluoride. It has hydroxyapatite for them. It's got essential oils, and it's whitening with multiple whiteners at once. What if you could give the patient, in your case, and the customer in mine, more value, which means we make it better and better and better. And then it's very hard for companies at a certain point to keep up because the seeking of perfection leads to mastery. And then that mastery makes you stand out. And that's why a lot of brands like a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley, they stand out because they anticipate. If you didn't close your door all the way, it closes for you. It does all those things. Even a Tesla will remind you, the key's still in the car, shut it off. So the anticipation, Amazon is really good at it as well. So anticipation is the highest level of service, and it's very hard to master. And I think it requires you got to kind of do everything right over time. But like you said, consistency. It's key. That is a consistency. If I can have a consistent experience like I can have at Supreme or Snow, why would I go anywhere else? Once they taste it, just like with my products and just like with your service, once they even try it once, it's like mind-blowing.
To be in the top 1%, you got to do what 99% of the people don't want to do. Why don't competitors compete with your service? Because they don't want to put in the time.
No.
You know, they don't. It's a lot.
Shortcut.
So it's so easy to take a shortcut. It's so easy to take. It's so hard to go the right way, but it's like a foundation in a house.
But you and I both know that if you do it right, just like a really good chef builds a really good restaurant, and over time they build that reputation, and you sleep better at night knowing that you're the real deal. And
there's no, in the long run, there's no comparison.
No comparison. No.
Somebody could say, "Oh, we're just as good as Snow." Just as good doesn't cut it, you know. You know, if I wanted something, I mean,
it's not.
You don't want something mediocre. You know, no. You want the real thing. And implantologists, well, there's a lot of implantologists around here in town, but to do an all-on-4 doesn't mean to do veneers. it doesn't just mean you do crowns. No, it's not a crown. It's a veneer. It's completely different. The way you cement, the way you prep, the way that everything happens. But, thank you so much. I think the cameras are about to die this time.
Yeah, they might actually die
George
this time. So we're going to have to do more of these, obviously.
George is shaking his head like, hey, man, what's up, what's up? But thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you, brother. Thank you and your wife and your entire staff. They're absolutely amazing, and they've treated me and my girlfriend perfectly. And I can't wait to obviously our partnership is going to be huge. Everybody I meet, I'm a walking proof of how amazing this is. And I've done my research. This isn't like I just popped out. I've been in this space for a very long time, and I'm very, very direct and intentional with anything that I put my name onto, just like you are.
Exactly.
And I think that we found a combination, 17, 18 years, that combination of mastery and the attention to detail. And I'm in products and you're in service. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And as Hispanic and first generation, and as the #1 minority owned oral care company in the world, it's a really important thing to me to let people know about this. And I'm blessed to be born and raised in Phoenix, where it's 2.5 hour drive and it's so easy and nice and amazing. But even all the amazing patients that travel into Supreme, and I met a few of them in the waiting room, and they're so excited. They're a little bit nervous, but they know they're in the right place because you guys do such a good job of taking care of them. And then I saw one the second day, and her demeanor, like once she was a little bit nervous, of course, everyone's nervous. Any dentist, who loves going to dentists in the U.S.? Anywhere, who loves going to? No one. But you guys make it an exciting experience and something that, and the work you guys do is truly life-changing, because people cannot access that. 20 million American children every year go without dental access and dental care. That's just children alone. So how many people cannot access life-changing restorative dentistry?
100%.
And you and your wife have created the most seamless way for people to feel better about themselves, and those that don't have access to be able to spend $50,000 in the U.S., so they go years and years and years without smiling. That is not okay. And I think that's something that both you and I agree on. So we've created a pathway, me at home and you in person, to be able to make people's dreams come true and make them feel more confident. So thank you and thank your wife for creating such an amazing business. And thank you for having me on this amazing podcast and in this amazing studio.
Thank you for being here. And Amanda, thank you so much. Just like you, I mean, she's been, like I said, completely different than what I thought was going to happen, and I'm so happy. I'd never seen it. I'm always thinking about what can happen. What is this? What is that?
Right.
I'd never seen this happening. I didn't. You guys are so human. See you guys in Italy.
For sure.
It's going to be amazing.
We're going to have a blast.
We're really proud to say Supreme Dental, the first dental clinic in Mexico to be sponsored by Snow
products. That's right.
And
check out Supreme Dental at Snow on Instagram, at Josh Snow, and you're going to see what we're doing together.
Perfect.
We're going to help millions of people.
Perfect. And we're going to have a link down here so you can order all your Snow products also. It's going to be amazing. This is just a start. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being part of Supreme Dental Clinic.
Pleasure.
Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. We're just like Snow products. Smiling starts here.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know.
That's right.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know.